everybody, and welcome to this special on the super full flower moon in the constellation of Scorpio on the 23rd of May. So this analysis is based on Vedic constellational astrology. So in Western astrology, I think the moon would be full moon in Sagittarius, but in Vedic astrology it's in Scorpio. So yeah. Okay, so so the full flower moon takes place in the 9th degree Scorpio, which has the Sabian symbol Den to work. So now I'm just going to talk a bit more about that. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the flower moon. So the full flower moon happens in May, and on the full moon is on the 23rd of May and is exact at 2:53 p.m. So yeah, it's called the flower moon because it sort of like we're sort of like getting into the end of spring, summer's coming, flowers are starting to bloom, the sense of abundance and the hope for summer is coming upon us. Symbolically, it represents growth, new beginnings, fertility, planting seeds, starting new things, and we're just about to have the summer solstice as well. So yeah, it's about manifesting our goals, embracing our creativity, nurturing our relationships, especially the lifelong one each person should be having with themselves, because they're the only ones who are, you're the only one with you 24/7. So yeah, so because it's in Scorpio, we can have an increase in emotions and intuition that puts us to tap into our inner wisdom. We may feel more tuned to our surroundings and more connected to our emotions. It's a time to reflect on what we want to bring into reality, into fruition, into actuality, into our lives, and set intentions for the future. So yeah, the full flower moon encourages us to embrace change and transformation, much like blooming flowers that signal a new season. The full flower moon graces the night sky, and we should take a moment to just contemplate its beauty and the seeds that we want to plant over the coming new moon and over the coming year. We've just had the astrological new year on the 21st of March, so we're kind of like 20th of March actually, so we're kind of like 2 months. So what do you need to do over the 10 new months if you follow March being your new year, or the next sort of like 7 months if January's your new year? And just be open to let the vibrant energy of this moon sort of like inspire you to newness. So yeah, Scorpio embodies intensity, transformation, rebirth and mystery. It's known for its deep and passionate nature. Scorpio represents the profound process of shedding our old layers and embracing new beginnings. As we walk through life, often we just keep on picking up heartbreaks, disappointment, resentments, maybe sense of failure, rejection, abandonment, and all the other negative human emotions. And yeah, you may pick up some good ones as well, but we carry this on. So Scorpio reminds us that we're allowed to burn ourselves down, and like a phoenix rise from our own ashes time and time again. The moon's in Scorpio at least once every month, and the sun's in Scorpio once a year. Mercury, Mars, Venus, all the planets go through it. Well, Venus, Mars and Mercury go through it also once a year typically, and if they're in retrograde then they can go through it twice a year. So yeah, Scorpio's energy is all about embracing new beginnings, allowing ourselves to feel powerful emotions and to be open to personal growth. If we allow it, we can do a ritual this full moon to let go of the things we need to let go and make significant changes in all area of our lives, whether it be our career, relationships, personal beliefs. And remember, we don't need to make all these changes all at once. You don't want to burn your whole house down, but making a strategic plan, because Scorpio energy in its highest, it gets a lot of stick for being moody, jealous and unforgiving and stuff. Well, it shows us that sometimes it's not that you can't forgive. We should always forgive, but sometimes not forget, especially if someone's behaviour hasn't changed. If they're people are willing to, you know, work within your boundaries and stuff, but oftentimes there cannot be, and you have to keep your distance from them. So it encourages us to dig into the depths of our psyche and our relationships and our values and what we really want from this life, and uncover hidden truths about what our authentic desires and needs are, and unlock our inner strength. And, you know, Scorpio's mysterious sort of like aura brings like a sense of intrigue and secrecy into this full moon. So it allows us to open up to the mysterious within ourselves, our relationships and the world, and to just be more open to depths, you know, finding those inner depths within ourselves. So on the practical level, it can bring opportunities for us to assess our monetary and other resources, our time, how we save money or don't save money, how we waste money, our income, are we earning enough, how we can earn more, you know, building on you know, personal development in our skills, especially if it's to do with like financial kind of advising or anything to do with finances or digging deep. You know, this energy wants us to dig deep and look really into ourselves and our resources to see what we can bring from within ourselves to create more material stability by creating that inner stability within us, so we can get ideas, research new ideas for generating income, making sure you don't fall into any scams. There are a lot of scams out there. Often, if it sounds too good to be true, it is, even if, you know, a lot of things are pyramid schemes, so people do earn money at the top, but down the bottom you don't, and then that's why they need to keep on recruiting and stuff. So just, you know, just think about the ways. And I believe that, you know, if we save year in year out from a very young age, or even if we start saving in our 40s or 30s and stuff, we can build, you know, our wealth, and never to give up on ourselves. You know, if you are over 30 or 40 and you think life's over, thinking about your life experiences and what they've taught you and how you can, you know, use those to make a, you know, a better life for yourself. So Scorpio energy pushes us to examine our self-worth and value by digging into our inner depths to understand our true desires, passions and strengths, and it wants us to be more self-reflective. It empowers us to embrace our authentic selves and to assert our worth in all forms of our lives, knowing that the world's a big place. You know, there's someone out there, there's your tribe's out there, so don't feel you have to stick with the tribe you're in now. I know some of you are married and you got kids, so I'm not telling you to leave, you know, your commitment to your children and that, but also sometimes it is best to get out of toxic situations. And again, you know what teenagers and stuff can be like, and you know, so I'm not saying, you know, if your kids are being teenager and toxic, to cut them off. That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying to think about the boundaries you may have and the things you need to let go of, even if it's letting go of the belief that you can change anyone else. Yeah, you can support them on their journey if they're working towards it, but ultimately each of us who are able to, because not everybody is physical or emotionally or psychologically able to, but those also us who are able to critically think and manage ourselves and stuff like that, just be open and take responsibility for ourselves as well, to, you know, step up and help ourselves have a healthy sense of power and acceptance for ourselves. And the full moon in Scorpio wants us to release anything that you know, gets in the way of us believing in ourselves, and self-doubt, toxic relationships, obsessive thoughts, self-destructive habits and toxic relationships and things. So on the worldly materialistic level, it wants us to examine our relationship with money, material wealth and possessions, especially if we feel that we can possess other people. You know, if we view people of property, or we allow others to view us of property, or you know, that's a kink for some people. So I'm not trying to kink shame or anything, but also just taking a realistic look at where you are giving away your power and your control, so that you can understand how you can sort of like make yourself more happy, and understanding that although, you know, cars, house, watches, phones, whatever, you know, clothes, jewelry are external markers for fulfillment and happiness, realizing that true happiness comes from within, and then understanding, trying to find what things within you need to be healing, continuing or starting the work of healing, so you can, become the best self that you want to be. So it wants us to find the balance between, obtaining material things and having, desires for money and status and stuff, and our spiritual growth or our intellectual, higher, deeper meaning development. It can also bring awareness to controlling behaviours that ourselves or others do, and it invites us to reflect on why we do try and control others or allow others to overstep our boundaries and control us, or we get jealous or envious, and just seek, to find the motivations behind these behaviours, and try and seek healthier ways of asserting your power and influence over your own life or other people's, because sometimes we can control freak ourselves so much we don't allow ourselves to have any fun. So just looking at themes of control and power in your life. Obviously, if you're in a coercive situation, you can't get out, I know it's dangerous and stuff like that, thinking about slowly how you can get help to get you out of difficult situations and making a solid plan, because sometimes when you are in those situations you can't just leave easy. It's not just easy to leave. It's easy for people to say, oh, you should leave, but it can be harder to get out. So I understand. So just looking into help if you are in a situation at that time, because the full flower moon's about blooming and allowing newness into your life as well, but also being loving and gentle with yourself if you do feel you're in a situation you can't control, and giving yourself the grace and the time and the effort to take the steps you need to get out of that situation safely. On the political level, some people may go to extreme lengths to gain and maintain power and control. Moon in Scorpio brings up secrets, so it serves as a reminder of the complexities and often murky nature of politics and the strategic alliances that are made behind the scenes that the citizens of any nation may not really be aware of, that can kind of shape outcomes. So also it can lead, as I said, for desire for power and influence on the the kind of governmental front as well. So themes of deceit and manipulation, even though there's always a story about one government or the next being corrupt, but something on a global scale could come out during this time as well. We can also just be thinking as a collective or individuals about how much power we give to individuals and individual parties, and understanding the impact of these sort of like mechanics that we're not really aware of, secrets that we're not aware of, and how they influence us as well. So it just invites us to be vigilant about what we take in, what we believe, seek transparency and challenge what we're being told to believe, so that we can sort of like think of ways of creating a more equal political system and an equal world for all sort of thing. Obviously, in the state we're in now, it can sound like an idealistic notion, but we should never give up hope. That's one thing. We shouldn't allow people to take, anyone take hope and faith, because they are sort of like, they are free, but they can get blocked by external events and becoming numb to all the craziness that literally happens, day in, day out in our world. So I understand how it can feel easier to shut ourselves off from feeling such of love and hope and faith and optimism and stuff, but this full moon is a reminder of going within ourselves and finding that unresolved psychological and emotional blockages that are stopping us from being who we really want to be. So on the spiritual esoteric level, it reminds us of the fact that we need to shed the illusions and the masks that we have chosen to wear or adopted to wear in the world to fit into social expectations and expectations of our family, lovers, friends and anyone else, and to embrace being our authentic selves more by digging into the hidden depths of our soul, and to confront our fears and traumas and subconscious patterns. It sort of like, urges us to let go of what no longer serves us and transform into a higher version of ourselves, and integrate our shadow aspects and embrace the light within, and just be open to inner healing And it's a good energy to use practices such as meditation, yoga, tai chi, energy healing, tarot, astrology, and other esoteric techniques and modalities to connect with a higher consciousness, and just to expand your spiritual awareness and just feel more at one with yourself as well. On the spiritual level, the full flower moon in Scorpio serves as sort of like a catalyst, a pusher, a galvanization for profound personal growth, and it just supports us on our journey of self-realization and spiritual enlightenment. On the psychological level, again, it just allows us to let go of the things that are holding us back and to transform our inner demons into a strength of empowerment, rather than them to continue to be a path of self-destruction that leads us into toxic things that, you know, hold us back. It wants us to release emotional baggage and to work through it, and not to be too hard on ourselves thinking we got to get it done in 1 day or 1 year or 1 decade, but just to commit to, you know, hey, the rest of the time I've got left on this earth, whether it be 1 year, 50 years or 60 or 70, 80, 90 plus years, to, you know, making sure that I look after all my needs on the physical, financial, psychological, spiritual and emotional levels. So yeah, on the symbolic level, because, you know, Scorpio is associated with death and rebirth and metamorphosis and facing our shadow. So yeah, ultimately it pushes us to confront our shadow selves, as I said earlier, the hidden and darker aspects of our personality, and integrate them into our conscious awareness so we can control them, rather than them control us subconsciously and we be totally oblivious to these sides of our personality that others see but we don't see, because we're blinded by this, you know, our ideal self is what our mind tells us who we are, yet our actions tell the world who we are and can tell us who we are if we analyse them. So, you know, maybe over the next 2 to 3 months, you know, just watch the things that you say and do and see how different the things you say differs from the things that you do, and not to judge yourself or beat yourself up, but just to realise the importance of being aware of your shadow. So on the creative emotional levels, it wants us to embrace our passion, our raw emotions and creative expression. So great works of art, words can be created now, or anything else you want to create, you know. It can bring and ignite a fire within us to go after our creative plans with enthusiasm and in an authentic way, you know, with kind of like childlike wonder and reckless abandon. This full moon is all about expressing yourself boldly and fearlessly while respecting other people's boundaries, of course, and channeling your emotions into artistic outlets, whether it be painting, writing, music or any other form of creative expression. This is a time to embrace your creative instincts and tap into your inner passions and unleash your raw emotions. And we have a really profound opportunity to experience profound personal growth, or continue it if we allow ourselves to work with this energy and find fulfillment in being creative right now. So if you feel stuck, you've got a problem, doing something creative, creating something can really, you know, help you understand right now. So now I'm just going to talk about the aspects that the sun and the moon are making when it is the full moon. So yeah, the moon is making opposition to Venus, so it allows us to have some it brings a desire for love and harmony. So although it can bring up issues in our relationships and related to our self-worth, it pushes us and brings to our attention the need to find a balance between our emotional needs and our connection with others. The sun's conjunction with Venus allows us to be creative and to create a sense of beauty and appreciation for the finer things in life, and just to embrace our passions more openly. So it supports us working with our creativity to heal us. The moon's sextile square to Mars allows us to be sort of like open and motivated to work through our emotions, but it can make us irritable and impatient, extra impatient. So we need to channel this energy constructively by doing things that are beneficial to our life and routine and well-being, to avoid conflicts or making rash decisions. The moon's opposition to Jupiter and the sun's conjunction with Jupiter brings a push and pull between our emotions and our optimism. So it kind of highlights the need to balance our feelings of expansion and growth with a realistic view of our emotional landscape. So, so as I said, this full moon in Scorpio wants us to do that inner shadow work and connect with our dreams on a deeper level, which the moon trine Neptune allows us to, and allows us to tap into our emotional landscape and just be open to spiritual insights and emotional healing. The moon sextile to Pluto allows us to, get intense and brings more intensity. So, we just have to watch out for being too dominating and others trying to control us as well. It allows us to dig into our subconscious patterns and transform any lingering doubts, and empowers us to embrace our inner strength and resilience. The sun's trine to Pluto supports us with, empowerment and rebirth, and letting go of the things that no longer serve us, but adds to the power struggles as well. The moon sextile to the ascendant allows us to, work with our emotional awareness and intuition, and to connect deeply with ourselves and others, and just be more empathetic and use our inner voice and nurture our relationships and express our emotions more authentically, and just being open. The sun's trine to the ascendant allows us to be more confident and self-assured, and harmonise our personal expression and identity. So it supports that shadow work and go within and going after our goals fearlessly right now, and step out into the spotlight if we feel that we can sort of do that. If we feel like, we want to go for it, well, this energy allows us to go for it and embrace our uniqueness and let our inner light shine and illuminate our path through working through our shadows and darkness. And it just wants us to trust in our abilities to stay true to ourselves if we dare to be ourselves as well. And remember, as well, great power comes with great responsibility. Sometimes stepping out into your own being means that you're going to face opposition from friends, family and other people. You have to learn to stand firm within yourself. So, building self-resilience or continuing that work is another good use of this full moon energy over the next 2 weeks as well. So also at the time of this full moon, there's a stellium between the Sun, Jupiter and Venus, which are all in the constellation of Taurus, and Uranus, which is in the constellation of Aries. So a stellium refers to when 3 or more planets or astrological points are in the same zodiac sign, degree, orb or house. So stellium intensifies the energy of each of the points or planets involved in the sign, and can influence various aspects of our life depending on what sort of planets are involved. So in terms of the stellium between Sun, Jupiter and Venus and Uranus, sort of brings a potent mix of focus, determination and resilience to deal with the unexpected changes that can come up during the full moon in Scorpio, as it brings a focus on our inner and emotional world, and this can make people on edge and cause the inner world can affect the external world deeply right now as well. So it wants us to focus on bringing in material abundance, which is represented by Taurus, and expansion by Jupiter, and bring more of a sort of harmony and pleasure into our life, which is represented by Venus. But Uranus in Aries again can add to the disruptions, because it forces us to challenge our routine, our relationships, and what's the status quo, what we do day to day. Although this can lead to breakthroughs and innovation, it can also create unexpected tension and obstacles along the way, and we may find ourselves pushed out of our comfort zones, and it can be scary. That's why a lot of the time we spend most of our lives living in them, only often realising through a terminal, a hard illness, someone dying, or on our deathbeds, how much time we've wasted on unforgiveness and trying to relive the past when we never can. So this energy allows us to dig deeper, and the Sabian symbol of then to work reminds us that this is a time of healing, and this is mirrored in the cosmic energies at play. And just as dental work can bring relief and, restoration to our oral health, this fourth flower moon offers a chance for us to address deep-seated issues within ourselves and our relationships, and clear stagnant energy, relationships and thoughts and behaviours, and pave the way for new growth. And remember, you don't have to change everything at once. That's not what it's all about. It's about acknowledging you need to change and want to change, and working day in, day out. And this is why I do like daily and weekly astrology videos, so subscribe to my content as well. And you can, for me, I do these videos because for me astrology was a big healing tool on my journey, so I'm talking to all those who will find it useful on their journey as well. So yeah, okay, so now I'm just going to talk more about the Sabian degrees in a bit more depth. So as I said, the moon's in the 9th degree of Scorpio, and the sun's in the 9th degree of Taurus, that has the Sabian symbol, a Christmas tree decorated, and rules the jugular veins in the human body. So there's a say, like, they've got me by the jugular, that it can kill you. So it's like, this moon is getting us by the jugular, it's waking us up to the reality and trying to set things up within ourselves. The moon in the 9th degree of Scorpio has the Sabian symbol dental work, and it rules the sperm duct and the vagina duct in the human body. So it's just like, bringing our attention, if you want to think about it on the base level of our sexual health, and hygiene, and how we feel about sex and our sexual organs, but also, on the spiritual esoteric level, also to the fact of the masculine and feminine energies within ourselves, regardless of what gender we choose to express ourselves as. So yeah, so again, the 9th degree of Scorpio signifies renewal, regeneration, wanting us to go deep. Dental work goes deep, especially if we've got cavities and stuff like that. We need the tooth out. So prevention is better than the cure. This is what this moon's saying. Like, change now before something drastic has to happen in your life. And so it's just reminding us to make sure we get to the root cause, because if we keep on just not talking about things or being superficial, we're never going to heal the things we need to heal or change the things we want to change as well. So positively, it can inspire us to confront our fears and insecurities, and this can lead to emotional breakthroughs and inner healing. But negatively, it can bring challenges into our communication and relationships because of the intense energy of Scorpio combined, with the symbology of dental work. We may find ourselves grappling with power struggles. So this is big warning. Things can be really intense over the next coming weeks within or outside of yourself, and this can lead to confrontations within and deep-seated emotions coming to the surface, and it just can cause turmoil, discord, discontent, disturb your peace, or your fake sense of peace. The ways that you typically numb yourself, you may not be able to do that now. So this energy, is messing with our stability in the way. But anyway, the sun in the 9th degree of Taurus, the Christmas tree at this time, we're normally feeling a sense of celebration, abundance and joy, but sometimes Christmas can bring us pain because of missing loved ones or being alone and stuff like that as well. So it contrasts nicely that the fact of life comes with happiness and pain, and that we need to build ourselves to be more resilient to withstand the storms, and by digging into our subconscious and embracing our own shadows and darkness, we can accept the shadow and darkness in the world and others. And when we can acknowledge that, we can acknowledge it in others, and we can give each other grace and support each other in our healing journeys. And this is how we can make our world better, not by saying you're wrong, you're to blame, but by changing what we can in ourselves and giving people grace. And I believe if enough people do that, we can create a ripple effect of wholeness and equality. But yeah, so anyway, the sun in the 9th degree of Taurus just reminds us of the abundance and joy that can bring us comfort by just being open to understanding ourselves and others, and embracing our fears and insecurities. And it sort of like just offers a beacon of hope and stability that can, and comfort, that we can get comfort in a beautiful decorated Christmas tree. So it just reminds us to get pleasure from the things that bring us pleasure, but also pleasure even on the realization and admittance and integrating our, shadow sides and embracing our fears. Just finding that strength within as we navigate through inner healing and emotional breakthroughs and commit to our lifelong healing. From a physical perspective, the ninth degree of Scorpio wants us to focus, as I said earlier, on our oral health and our reproductive health, and wanting us to, focus on themes of, regeneration and creation, and to just allow ourselves to become fertile with newness and hope and faith, and figuring out what faith means to us. Because a lot of the times we throw away beliefs, especially beliefs of our culture or things we were taught to believe in our childhood, not because these things are necessarily wrong. How they're interpreted into our cultures, into our families can be wrong, but we can sometimes throw the baby out with the bathwater, which means that we can just throw away everything without really researching, whether it be religion, whether it be philosophy or way of life, without researching the different ways and interpretations and what it means to you. You shut yourself off from that love and faith because people have misused and abused you in the past maybe and called it love when it weren't actually love, and you've probably hurt others in the name of love. And we're all a gigantic mess as a collective, and the only way we're going to get better if we allow ourselves to be open to healing ourselves and being open to the release and letting go that the full moon allows us to do. So now I'm just going to talk about how the full moon affects our friendship, co-worker and other relationships. So in family relationships, it allows us to have more deeper conversations and intensity and be supported and feel more connected, but we can have power struggles within them because hidden emotions and conflicts and the things we want to say, don't say, may come to surface, and then once words and actions are done, we can't take them back. So we may have to sort of just be gentle with ourselves and others, but brace ourselves for some hard times in them as well. But generally, it does allow for us to connect with our family members more deeply. In terms of friendships, it can make us more honest and loyal, but it can increase the risk of misunderstandings and betrayals, and emotions can run high because, as I said, there's a lot of envious, jealousy and possessive and obsessive energy that can come with the negative consequences of Scorpio Pluto energy, and Pluto rules Scorpio after all, as I said earlier. So co-worker relationships can benefit from intense focus and determination that can lead to increased productivity and collaboration, which can get work tasks done quicker and stuff like that. But negatively, again, jealousy in the workplace can come up. Buried tensions that were forgiven or not forgiven but buried and not spoken can be spoken right now, furthering the tension. In committed relationships, you can deepen your emotional bond and feel more intimate at this time, and this can create a deeper understanding and trust. But unresolved secrets can come to light, and these can challenge the strength of the relationship. In hookup relationships, the intense Scorpio influence can lead to passionate encounters, heightened physical attraction, but there can also be a risk of jealousy, possessiveness and power struggles, and these can complicate casual connections at this time. So now I'm just going to talk a bit more about the karma, karmic lessons and past life meanings of the full flower moon. So as I said, this energy illuminates our past actions and decisions and can bring to light the consequences of our actions, especially in things to do with the 8th house, so sex, psychological, repressed desires, joint finances, death, inheritance and stuff like that as well, and or everything else related to Pluto, Scorpio and 8th house energy. So you can research that and really work with it, and maybe draw or create a song or some poetry on the themes of your research, and this can help you heal the things that may surface right now. It encourages us to take responsibility for our past actions and deeds and learn from them, paving the way for a more enlightened future, reminding us that we can't change the past but we can create a better now and a future. So on the karmic level, it reminds us to let go of old patterns that no longer serve us and embrace change with courage and resilience, in challenging us to release emotional baggage and unhealthy attachments that get in the way of our progress. So in terms of the past life meanings, the full flower moon in Scorpio on the past life level wants us to confront our innermost fears and desires. So we may have dreams of past lives where we avoided our fears and desires, or where we abuse our fears and desires, or we allowed other people abuse us because of our fears and desires and stuff like that as well. So now I'm just going to talk about how this full moon can affect career, spiritual, personal and educational development. So in terms of career development overall, it allows us to, sort of like we can be inspired to take on passion projects or seek out new career paths that align more closely with our true selves. But it can also, as I said earlier, cause power struggles in the workplace and disrupt professional relationships, and this can lead to setbacks. On the spiritual growth level, it's just a reminder for us to allow ourselves to have breakthroughs, to allow ourselves access to the increased intuition and to build that stronger connection to our inner selves. And this can lead to a greater sense of purpose and clarity. But negatively, because it can bring up our deep-seated fears and unresolved issues, it kind of can just overwhelm us. So we just need to learn to balance that out and just be open to chilling out as well as working with the energies that come up. In terms of personal development, it allows us to sort of like just to work on our emotional healing and release our pent-up feelings and trauma. But because it can stir up feelings of jealousy, possessiveness and emotional turmoil, it can just impact our self-esteem negatively as well. As I said earlier, educationally, it allows us for research to investigate, to uncover hidden truths. Students and learners can find themselves digging deep into complex subjects and finding a sort of like newfound intensity and passion for knowledge as well. But negatively, it can lead to obsessive or compulsive behaviours in our learning and academic goals, and this can cause burnout or excessive stress if we just do too much of this, mate. So we allow ourselves to relax. Okay, so just to sum up now, overall the transiting full moon in Scorpio can affect various aspects of our lives. Astrologically, it brings intense emotions and a need for transformation. In terms of the practical and worldly materialistic meanings, it may bring financial changes and power struggles, or we can use it to focus on bringing changes into those areas in our lives and working through our anger or repressed jealousy or repressed sexual desires and anything else the secrets and lies that we tell ourselves and others, and the mask that we wear can all be revealed. And doing that can help us work through our internal pain. And although confronting the shadow can be hard, the full flower moon in Scorpio reminds us that we are supported by the planetary energies to do so. Psychologically, as I said, it can bring up our deepest fears and desires. Politically, hidden agendas and secrets can come to light, and it can bring deep understanding and spiritual growth on the spiritual levels. Creatively, it can inspire intense and passionate expression, and emotionally, it can bring intense connections and transformative experiences. So ultimately, the full flower moon in Scorpio is a powerful and dynamic time for growth, change and understanding, if you allow yourself to remain open and embrace it. So yeah, that's the end of this analysis of the super full flower moon in Scorpio on the 23rd of May.